You are watching coverage of the Fnatic PlayOpen tournament cast by myself, TotalBiscuit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SHOUTcraft right here. We've got Nightend in the red trunks playing Protoss on the SHOUTcraft plateau versus his opponent Cloud in the purple trunks playing Terran. And this is the FnaticMSI $3,000 PlayOpen. It has produced some interesting games thus far. We have seen Whiterun knocked out by a player that really not many people actually know. I believe INSO is short for insolence. The guy, mind games, man. Mind games. Cloud asks, what's our card? Oh, B frickin' M. Ladies and gentlemen, you see it right here on the stream. Oh. And the audience hisses and starts to stockpile those rotten tomatoes. Oh, good lord. There you go. GLHF, folks. Nightend versus Cloud. The cries of Terran overpowered. Funny enough, Nightend is actually Protoss as well, PvP, but yeah, bear in mind, anything can really happen in PvP. It is interesting. Okay, I'm lying, PvP isn't interesting at all. Gateway coming down here for Nightend, and there you go with the barracks for Cloud. No big surprise on the other side. I say I did cast Cloud before, and Cloud is good. I mean, his Marine Marauder Medivac play is extremely strong, mostly reliant on biological units, as you can tell when he played against whoever the hell it was it Mana? Yes, I believe it was. And he did do an awful lot of damage to Mana. Although, what I have to say is, has anyone else noticed this, that Mana's been doing some crazy stuff lately? Like, deliberately trying odd builds that don't necessarily seem to make a huge amount of sense. I think it's kind of cool that a player is actually getting creative in a tournament environment. It's all well and good to practice your builds on the ladder, but yeah, the proof of the pudding is, can you pull it off in a high-pressure tournament environment with big stakes on the line? Because yeah, that requires balls of steel, folks. Balls of Neo Steel in the case of Cloud. I don't think you really get balls of steel as a Protoss player. Probes of steel, I suppose. It works. There you go. No big surprises as of yet for Cloud. Orbital Command Center straight through on 16 supply, and there's your other supply depot going down. One of the things that I, as a noob Terran, keep forgetting. It's actually why I wall off in almost every game, because it helps me remember to place a second supply depot. If I'm not walling off, I forget. I have all this money, I spend it on these. Oh, I have no supply. I'm such a dullard. But there you go. Very rapid expansion there for Cloud. Feeling pretty confident by the looks of it. And he hasn't scouted anything particularly aggressive from Nightend, so I don't blame him as of yet. SCV hanging around. Waits for the Stalker so that he can shoot that into tiny little pieces. Clubs of scrap metal on the ground. That will happen eventually. Eventually. Your doom, folks. Your time is limited. Make peace while you can, little SCV, for your doom approaches. Now, Cloud with no extra barracks yet, just relying on the single barracks, no add-on of any description because he's gone for that incredibly fast expansion. Why would you do that? Why would you do that as a Terran? You know, it just comes down to economy, really. Can I grab extra gas? Can I go 4 gas really easily? Can I throw down a bunch of mules really easily? Yes, I can. Nightend, there you go. Builds that second one, and things that a lot of players seem to forget, and, you know, I'm not talking about the Team Liquid kind of super analyst players, we're talking about the lower level players who are often tuned into this stream. You know, SHOUTcraft is aimed at the lower level guys that don't really necessarily understand a lot of the jargon and things like that. You know, expanding for Terran and Protoss and indeed Zerg is more than just mine more stuff. It's something you have to bear in mind. Each of the 3 command center buildings do have a lot of special things they can do. And when it comes down to the command center, you're looking to get more energy. You can make more energy at any given time, which means more mules, which means more scans, which means more supply drops that you never see coming, but there you go. Cloud, in the meantime, 3 barracks approach. Pretty standard against the Protoss, no big surprises there. He'll pump Marines, he'll pump Marauders, you might get some Medivacs a little bit later on if he's feeling really saucy. In the meantime, his opponent, 2 more gateways coming up. I would expect to see going into the robotics facility, and of course then into the Colossus against Terran. Incredibly, incredibly common. And indeed against Cloud, I don't see why you wouldn't do that. I mean, all I've seen Cloud really build, with the exception of a couple of siege tanks, are a bunch of Marines, Marauders, and Medivacs. And obviously you're going to go Colossus against that, but it's whether or not you can get them out in time. As we saw, Mana tried that against Cloud, and it didn't work, because Cloud was able to apply quite a lot of early pressure with his Marines and his Marauders. He was able to keep Mana on the back foot, wasn't able to get the Colossus out in time. Okay, let's have a look at this economy, folks. And again, the same thing applies when you're building a Nexus as well. You're getting extra energy you can use on Chrono Boost, so that's very, very important. And with the Zerg, well, why do you have more hatcheries? I don't know, maybe because I want more dudes? Nightend certainly streaming ahead in terms of SCVs, going very heavy into SCV production. Although we haven't seen any aggression from his opponent, so I don't really blame him. Even using the scan right there to see exactly what's going on. I do not believe he's seen the robotics going down. No, he has not. There you go, quickly into the robotics bay. And that could be brutal if it's not scouted. We'll have to see whether or not he's able to apply enough pressure to justify what he's doing right now, because he's gone so heavy in it. Look at that. Look at how ahead he is in terms of harvester count. He has really cut down on building units in order to go maximum into his economy. And that will certainly benefit him in the long run, and it could benefit him here. But if he's not able to crack that tough Colossus shell that's going to be coming in, then it could be problematic. But he's compensating with that by getting aggressive before... Oh, nicely done right there. Look at the patience of Cloud. He just sends in a single one. He's actually able to force Nightend to drop down 2 force fields worth of energy. That's actually a great play there. Really, really good. It seems very small, but it just shows that Cloud is very patient. He's not impetuous. He is willing to try and bait his opponent into doing something he doesn't want to do. And Nightend... I wouldn't call it a panic move or a knee-jerk reaction, but dumping down those 2 force fields, not really necessary. Cloud just testing the waters, probing the defenses of his opponent. In the meantime, extended thermal lance all the way up for Nightend. On its way, will be here pretty shortly. Colossus will be up in about 20 seconds time as well, and is going to grab a forge. In the meantime, there's the starport. Double reactors coming up right here. We might see a swap around. Yes, I think we will. There's no question about that. Reactor coming up. Look at the timing of it. It's going to be swapped around so you can get the starport out. Really start rolling those medevacs and just go for that nice standard strategy. Everyone hates it if they're not Terran. Everybody loves it if they're Terran. Marines, Marauders, and medevacs. Oh, it's a build. Oh, it's so boring. It works. I was reading something very interesting, actually, last night about the difference between a competitive player and a scrub. And scrubs are the kind of people that say, this tactic's cheap, this tactic's lame, and just set up these arbitrary sets of rules for themselves that prevent them from competing. And they're limiting themselves in that regard. Use whatever works within the rules of the game. It's as simple as that. That's how competitive play has always worked. And that's indeed how counter-strategies evolve. You can't limit yourself in that regard. There will be counter-strategies. Now, we've seen the Cloud just finished up an armory. So what's he going to do with that? We're going to go for upgrades with it. It would be very odd to see Thor's, if I'm totally honest. Where the hell did he put his factory anyways? Is he using that for scouting again? Yes, he is. There you go. So there's no question that Thor's will not happen. Infantry weapon upgrade level 2, on the other hand, will. That's damn important. Force field did... Force field? What the hell? Forge. Try that one. Forge did come up. He's going for weapons upgrade. He doesn't have armor upgrade, so that level 2 upgrade, which I would expect to see timed with a push, will be extremely dangerous. The huge upgrade for Marines. Once you get it up to 2, it takes the Gauss rifle from 6 to 8. Very significant upgrade. In the meantime, however, Nightend is not just sitting around doing nothing. He's already got 2 Colossus up. He's got a third of the way. Vikings on the way up for Cloud. Not investing too much in the medivacs. Cloud with a great scout right there. Factory, very, very hard to kill, as you can see. And oddly enough, also forces the warping of more Stalkers. Maybe Nightend wanted them anyway, but there you go. Triple pylon approach going down right there. More warp gates on the way. That is a huge number of warp gates. A lot of units available right there. Factory finally dies. But you know what? He does manage to scout everything of worth in the base. He knows exactly what is happening. Another command center. Cloud really is going heavy into the economy. He's still ahead, folks, in terms of his economy, but his pro count, and his SCV count, in fact, has finally fallen behind his opponent. But again, a lot of mules coming in to make up for that, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Nightend has just scouted it. What's the force that Nightend is going to be up against if Cloud decides to push right now? 20 Marauders, 27 Marines. He really must be looking for that. Terran ship level. There you go. Air upgrade as well. Very cool. Always nice to see that happening, especially when you're just going in with the Vikings. Those Colossi are going to get beaten into the ground, and that's what I would be concerned about if I was Nightend right now. Map control, as far as I'm concerned, firmly in the hands of Cloud. He's got a lot of mobility with those medevacs, with the Marines, Marauders. He knows exactly where his opponent is, and right now, Nightend not even trying to actually expand. Look at that! Cloud has strip-mined this area. He's really going hardcore on this, and there's your command center. It's going to be up there, and there's really nothing that Nightend can actually do about it right now. Blink on the way, Protoss ground weapon level 2 to keep up with it, but again, no armor, so that's still a huge amount of damage Cloud's going to be able to inflict. Terran infantry level 3, rolling out right here. There's your Blink coming up for Nightend as well. Looking to try and gain some mobility right there. Colossus forces aren't all that mobile. No question about that. 8 Vikings in the air. Is he still going to produce Colossi? It doesn't look like he is. He's just going to go for Stalkers instead, which again is a smart move. It lets him nail down Vikings very quickly. And of course, Stalkers work well against an awful lot of things. Very effective. Will we eventually see an engagement, more to the point? I mean, Nightend pretty much knows what he's up against. So, when Nightend pushes out, it'll be because he feels confident that he can actually break that line. No siege tanks, no mechanized play of any description, just heavy on the Vikings and Marines Marauders. The thing is, if Nightend waits too long, he's going to be up against level 3. Yes, indeed, folks, level 3 infantry weapon upgrade. That is nasty. It's really unpleasant. And don't forget that that's going to be, I believe, 26 damage versus armor for Marauders. That is so good. They will devastate the Stalkers. Looks for the push. It's not timed. Not looking for it right now. He does have a ghost reactor, whatever the hell they call them. Ghost Academy. A ghost reactor. Yes, that's what I'm calling him. He's got the ghosts up. Doesn't have any in his force right now, but he does have a strategy if this fails. Here's the big push right now. Cloud is going to be looking to snipe off some Colossi before he goes in there. Will he get it? Well, he takes a probe, so he can be happy about that. There's the engagement. We're going to see a blink under there. This is brutality, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Oh, wow. Huge amounts of army taken out very rapidly. You see Nightend's armies plummeting, but then again, so is his opponent. His Colossi devastated, though. As far as I can tell, he's going to get pushed back here, or is he? It's so very close. Nightend forced to back off. Loses more supply worth in terms of his army, and now that is very vulnerable. Vikings now on the ground, because of course you don't need them in the air. There are no Colossi available right here. Charge upgrade is coming in for Nightend right now. What's Nightend's economy looking like? Well, it's not going to be looking too good after that's dead. There's the warp in right there. Zealots are just going to get themselves killed. Looks for Hammer and Anvil. It's not quick enough, though, as far as I'm concerned. Zealots were killed before the Stalkers were able to get in there. They take a medevac, and that's really about it. Units lost. Oh, wow. The difference is astronomical, ladies and gentlemen. And the economic advantage that we've seen from Cloud pretty much the entire game is going to prove to be unbelievably problematic for Nightend. It's just as simple as that. He's not going to be able to reinforce in time, and Cloud is just, he's happy. He's sitting on another expansion there. He's got another expansion here as well. He's totally happy. Right now, Nightend really doesn't have anything. I mean, he's got 6 Stalker, 6 Sentry, 6 Zealot, and he gives it up. There you go. He knows he can't win it. And, of course, Cloud takes that one in this best-of-3 series.